And what if I told you the reason why most people walk down the aisle isn't for love? We are asking one of the most uncomfortable questions on today's podcast, and that is, what is the real reason that you walk down the aisle? And you don't want to miss this conversation today, because we are going to dig deep and uncover the subconscious reasons why you made one of the biggest decisions of your life. I'm Barbara Lapointe, and joining me is Dr. Rose Backman. She's a specialized kinesiologist who helps people uncover emotional patterns and unconscious beliefs. And those can be stored in our body. So if you've ever wondered why you repeat the same relationship patterns over and over again, well, we're going to do a deep dive into that today. Good morning and welcome to Healing Forward, Dr. Rose.
Thank you. Well, for those listeners today, I hope that your ears are really clear because we're going to kick butt with love and truth. And you need to ask yourself this question: what's the real reason why you walked down the aisle? Take a moment and think about that, because you should have your answer within seconds. Barbara, do you know the real reason you walked down the aisle?
Wow, that's a powerful question, Dr. Rose, and an important question. And that was like, I don't want to date myself, but it was like 20 years ago. So how I answered that question now and how we'll answer today are so different, because I'm so much more aware of myself. I will say, Dr. Rose, that I wasn't one of those little girls that grew up with the fantasy of, I want a white wedding and I want a perfect husband and the perfect day. I wasn't that little girl, but little did I know, all of that programming was actually inside of me, because I did have the white wedding. I did love my husband when we got married, but I don't know if I was aware and ready to build the kind of relationship for a successful marriage.
Well, we follow our parents.
We follow our parents.
The way our parents are is usually we end up marrying mommy or daddy. And sometimes we divorce mommy and daddy 3, 4 times. It depends who you are. I mean, Elizabeth Taylor, I think it was 8 times. So how many times was she marrying her mother or her father? You know?
Yeah, well, you know what? That's a really good point. And that's something I see in my group. And I'm sure you've seen it in your practice over the last 20 years, is that women, we tend to make the same mistake over and over again. So how do we break the pattern? Because we really want to break the pattern and move forward in a different way.
Well, you have to practice to change the pattern. I mean, it's no different than you want to be a baseball player and, you know, be hired on by the Yankees, the New York Yankees. I mean, you've got to practice, 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 practice. So we have to do the same thing with our mind. What's really important is, and we're not taught this, is to honor and value ourselves. Honor and value what you're worthy and deserving of receiving. So most of us don't know that we're so adorable. See, we're only adorable to a certain age. And then after that, we seem to be a problem. You know, they call the bad twos, or whatever the terminology was when you're 2 years old.
Terrible.
That, you know, the terrible twos, thank you. Depending how you're raised and your genetics, because your genetics goes back 4 generations inside of yours at a cellular level. So you're made up of your parents and their parents and their parents and their parents. So
Wow.
however mommy and daddy got along, you're going to know as a child who the problem is, and you're going to take sides. You're either going to love mommy a little more, or say, you know, mommy, why is daddy so angry? And then mom's going to give you a bullshit answer. She's never going to tell you the truth in the beginning because you're too young. But children know everything. They see it, they feel it, they experience it, they know what's going on. And what's sad is sometimes the child becomes the adult at way too early an age. So, you know, when you walk down the aisle, please do it because you absolutely adore him, and he does the same for you. He has to adore you. Ask your best friends. Do you have the courage, everybody that's listening? Do you have the courage to ask your best friend, do you see what I see? Show me what you see in him. And vice versa.
That's an excellent suggestion. And why wouldn't you do that? It's one of the biggest decisions that women make in their lives. It has the most profound effect. And there's a lot of evidence to suggest that marriage is still really relevant to keeping a society healthy Nonetheless, marriage is on the decline. So the question we're answering today is why did you really walk down the aisle? Now, Dr. Rose and I do a lot of preparation for these talks, and I have permission to ask her, Dr. Rose, why did you walk down the aisle?
I said I could fix them.
What?
That's it. I
Okay.
remember I remember saying to myself, hearing his story coming from Greece and the tough times he went through, and I took charge and I should have never took charge. I took charge and he let me take charge. And I mean, who buys their own engagement ring for Christ's sake? Give me the check, I'll go buy my own. That's what I did. Because at that time, we were living in Jasper. So I was driving to Edmonton and to do whatever. But I remember buying my own engagement ring. And I said to myself, no, I'm going to pick what I want. And he seemed to agree with me. He says, yeah, just go pick what you want. Well, that's a problem right there, don't you think?
Yeah, you were really well, you were definitely the one in charge.
Well, I was, but I wasn't. It depends what the issue was. You know, you think he was in charge for certain things, and so was I. But I believe that I saw the goodness in him, and when I heard his story about how his father treated him because he was the last child to leave Greece, his father was very upset with him. I understood why he became angry and why he didn't feel loved and didn't know how to receive love or give love. 'Cause you have to learn that in your family. You know, my family was very touchy, huggy, lovey-dovey. So I was blessed that way. I hug everybody, you know? And I'm very touchy. I'm a very touchy person. So if I meet you, I might touch your hand or, you know, your shoulder, whatever. And I'm gonna continue to do that because I do it with respect and it's part of who I am. And I feel that women, you know, don't get involved what's going on in the world out there and what some of the so-called professionals say. If you want to approach somebody, do it the way that makes you feel comfortable and take it from there. Learn what you need to learn to be who you truly are. Don't become who you're not. Most of us become who we're not. I don't care who likes me. For the listeners that are out there, I don't need your approval. None of us need anybody's approval. You need your own approval because you're doing the best you can. And you're doing, I hope, what you love. If you're doing something that you don't love, please stop it. Please go to your best friends that tell you the truth because we've got friends that don't tell us the truth. And then there's the truth teller. And when they tell you what they see, think about that and see if there's truth to that. And ask some of your other friends, is it true that I'm too bossy and too controlling? Is it true? Yeah, it is. It's
Yeah.
so change the little things that can get you more sweetness. And that's really hard when you're a choleric personality like myself. You know, I like to take charge and get things done. And I'll tell you, I was very controlling many times because I was the one that had to make all the decisions. And that gets tiring.
Absolutely. But Dr. Rose, if you'd allow me to back you up just a little bit, you said you got walked down the aisle because you wanted to fix him. And I bet you there's women out there that go, oh, yeah, that was me too. That was me too. I think that's something that a lot of women can relate to. And where's the lesson in that? Where's the value
Don't
in
fix them. Run. That's the lesson. You're going to, how many times do you need to get divorced or separated? I don't know, but you feel it. You know it as a woman. You know it. If you give yourself permission to tap into that energy that we all have, your knowingness, you're going to make the right decision. And sometimes walking down the aisle is the right decision to get the right person down the road. It's confusing, isn't it?
It's a fun area, and it is very confusing. There's a lot of ways we can do a deep dive, and we thought this was gonna be a pretty provocative and fun question because we were curious what women would say. Nonetheless, Dr. Rose, you've been asking women this question for
35 years.
35 years, and what kinda answers come out? Because I would think
Mm.
everyone would say, "I got married for love," like, because I loved him and that fairy tale, princess, idealism, that's why we got married. But in fact, what have you really heard in your practice?
What's the real reason you walked down the aisle when I asked my clients that question, which were mostly women? My father liked him. What did you expect me to do? I was pregnant. Well, nobody else asked me. I have children that have to be looked after from a former marriage. I want to make sure my children are looked after.
I'm sure that's a big one.
And I understand it. So it's about the energy. You feel the person that you're connected to. You feel the friendships that you're connected to. You feel the family that you have, whether you're connected or not. There's very many people out there. They have nothing to do with their family. but they themselves are a gem. They themselves are the kind, loving people that go in their head naturally and say, "Thank you, mom and dad, for teaching me what not to be and what not to do." So that little girl in us, we learn from our parents, but we can't blame them for everything. We have to take responsibility once we have some awareness. And I hope it doesn't take us to be 60 to have that awareness, because that's also a lie that people tell themselves, is when I say to them, "Well, okay, you were pregnant and you decided you wanted to marry him strictly because you were pregnant." I said, "You could have still stayed with him without marrying him. You still could have." You know what I'm saying?
Right, I
It's
hear you.
it's a is it a tradition? Is it a tradition, or is this just programming? Or are you letting other people tell you how to live your life? Why do you think people run away from where they were raised? And there's people that'll say, "I'll never go back to my hometown. Never." Why? I'm assuming bad experiences, of course.
Yeah. Well,
Those
actually,
memories are here. And wherever you go, those memories go with you. It doesn't matter where you move to.
yeah, this is perfect because I was gonna ask you about our bodies actually holding emotional memories and what that means and what are the ramifications of that? Because yeah, wherever you go, there you are. And so, it's funny you said that because I thought it was wonderful when I married a man from California because I thought we'd be going to California. And he ended up being an Alberta guy and he just loved the cold and the snow and he said, "I'm never ever going back there." And so it was a very big ironic twist. But wherever we go, there we are. So how does our bodies holding these emotional memories impact our lives and our decisions?
Well, first of all, it goes back 4 generations. We talked about this before, that Dr. Bruce Lipton said, you're made up of your parents and their parents and their parents and their parents. So, depending again on your personality style, depending how you're raised, depending how loved you were, it goes on and on and on, depending on. But the bottom line is, we're the ones that make the decision, male or female. We make the decision what we're going to do, where we're going to be, because of our belief systems. And it goes back 4 generations. So, if your mother was a chef, you probably would be a great wife, because you would learn how to cook if you wanted that. My mother was the best gardener. They had the perfect yard on the farm. And everything was beautiful. They won awards because everything was so beautiful. I know she entered contests at the fair and she would win lots of prizes because it was her love. You see, the energy, do you think the plant feels the energy of the love?
Absolutely. 100%.
It's a living, is it organism the right terminology? I don't know. But the plants love it when you love them. So if you take that and you go, okay, this is goofy, but if you treat your partner right, they're going to love you back if they can. Please don't settle. Please don't marry somebody that you have doubt with. Would you rather be alone, or would you rather be in a marriage not feeling loved, touched, and adored? That's my question to everybody. I want you to think about that. And if you're in a marriage right now, do something about it if you're not happy. Most people aren't happy. Most people lie about their happiness. You find out the truth after you've had a few martinis from your girlfriends. Your friends always tell you the truth, usually, if they're truly a good friend. They're going to tell you the truth. And then you decide, am I going to continue on and keep doing what doesn't work? Or am I going to make a decision to love and honor me? Because you teach your children. I want to ask you this question. What did you learn from your parents that you did with your marriage that wasn't healthy? What actions did you take in your marriage that was the same as how your parents lived together?
Yeah, I think that, that's the question is when we start connecting the dots between these patterns, that is when we can start shifting the pattern. So in my family, Dr. Rose, my mother was very shut down and
How? Shut
the
down how?
shut down emotionally and really kind of checked out. She just wasn't emotionally present and emotionally available. And so that's kind of the example I have of a relationship where one person is checked out and the other person's gone. And yeah, it's interesting the way these patterns play out our whole lives. And sometimes it can be really, well, like you said, doing the inner work to honor ourselves. And it's a process I think that never ever ends. I've been doing this work for at least 20 years, maybe my whole life, but I've restarted the work recently with you and it really does shake you up and wake you up, as you love to say. and you start, and that's why I think they call healing a spiral, because you just go back into it. So it's about raising your consciousness. But you tell me, how do you help women to really become unstoppable and step into their power?
Well, first of all, women are afraid to change too. That's the very first thing I want to say, that when we have our events, women want to get better. But I remember one lady some years ago, I don't know, she waited an hour holding the registration form to fill out because she wanted to do work, but she was in the corner crying and shaking. And I went up to her and I said, what's happening, darling? And she goes, I really want to do this work, but it's going to happen to my marriage if I do. I said, well, it's going to get better, not worse. It's going to get better, honey, not worse. So what's really going on? And it's all about her not having a voice, not really saying what she needed to say, and caring about what everybody else said, and, who you're supposed to invite over for dinner, and the next door neighbor's supposed to come for dinner, and you should be doing this and you should be doing that, all the should be's. Anyways, she changed. She made a decision to book the 10 sessions, and she made a beautiful change. She had to have a voice. She was quiet. She was reserved. And she nearly had a heart attack when she said, I got to go away for a week by myself to find myself. How do I tell my husband? I said, I don't know. That's not for me to answer. That's for you to figure it out. You need to tell your husband how you feel. I don't know how you feel. I'll give you some tips on what I suggest. The basic, steps are, but you have to come from the bottom of your heart and soul and tell him the truth. Men don't need much.
Sorry, men. Are they still simple creatures?
Very, very simple creatures. They need sex, good food, and appreciation. That's all a man needs. I
Might
want
get
people
comments on the feed on that one.
down. They need sex, good food, and appreciation.
Uh-huh.
So when a man doesn't have sex because of whatever dance the wife and him are playing, somebody has to make a decision to change. That's why a lot of people get divorced. They're not really expressing their truth. I've said this before. We all marry our mother or our father most of the time. Most of the time. And
Yes.
I was talking with somebody this morning, and she was sharing how this woman went through hell. She went through a lot of physical abuse and a lot of sexual abuse as a child, and she herself had a child, and now the child she has is an absolute mess. But she's a real nice person. How is she going to get better? She's in a system now and has been there for years and years and years, and she's still doing all the wrong things. Even though she's the nicest, sweetest thing you've ever seen, she's still doing all the wrong things.
Well, only
You
you,
know,
only you can set yourself free.
say that loud and clear.
You can set yourself free, and it's by doing that inner work. But I love that you encourage women to honor themselves and do the work. And I
Yes,
think,
we're
you
not
know,
asking them to leave their husbands. I will ask you to leave your husband if you're being abused, but that's still not my decision. That's their decision. You decide what you need to do for you, and once you make that decision, I've said this many times, you'll spend 60, 70, 80,000 on a car. Huh? You're not willing to spend a tiny fraction of that to be happy, to be joyful, to become more of who you truly are, to have a voice, to be heard, to be honored. Come on, ladies. Come on. I'm asking you to take a step to support you. That's why we're doing this, Barbara and I, to support women, to teach them you're worth it.
yeah, it's so worthy, and it's such an important invitation, because so many women are just like, I'll do it alone. Next time will be different. But you cannot bypass the work. You've got to do the inner work, and you can't escape it. So next time you've got to come back, you've got to do the inner work. One thing I really appreciate about you, Dr. Rose, is it's confronting. It's not easy, and you will give the pushback, but it's in a safe environment. And you can get to the core or the root cause, I think, through the process. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm a specialized kinesiologist for over 30 years now. So I read your body. And if anybody has heard of kinesiology, they'll understand how all of your organs hold emotions. And those emotions that are held in your organs also go back 4 generations. So let's say you're an alcoholic and there's no alcoholism in your family and you become who you're not. And let's say that family, they ate a lot of sugar. Whether you eat the sugar or drink the sugar, it's the same thing. Your pancreas pays a price. And then what happens then? Now your brain goes goofy. You have 3 or 4 glasses of wine and you're real quiet normally, but then all of a sudden on your 3rd or 4th glass of wine, you're talking up a storm and people are going, "Oh my god, she's got a voice. I've never heard her say this before." And she's never drank 3 to 4 glasses of wine before for whatever the reason was that she did that. And, your body knows the answers. So with kinesiology, that's been around for years, from the early 1900s. It just wasn't talked about a lot. So
Oh,
when I met Dr. Dick Versendahl, who was my mentor
mhm.
back in the 90s, I believe, yes, he taught me all the physical part of testing the body. And then I learned from another doctor who was a chiropractor. She taught me all the emotional work. And then from that, I developed my own. So your body will tell you the answer for everything. So we can be playful now. We can be playful now. If you do you want to play?
Let's play, Dr. Rose.
Okay. So if you were my client, I would say to you, why are you here? What is it that we can help you release that has been bugging you for however long? Just tell me what you need and what you're sick of.
Well, my muscles are always tight, I would say, hypothetically. So tight jaw, tight muscles.
Okay, so tight jaw, no safety to speak. No safety to speak. I have to zip it. Otherwise,
Okay.
what price? That little girl, what does she believe? If she said something, what was her fear of not speaking up? My jaw's tight because my mom would say what, my dad would say what.
That's a question for me?
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, I guess, you think you're done processing your dad, but there wasn't a lot of saying much in my family without my dad just saying, "Shut up," in one way or another. So I think
Okay,
that
so you weren't heard.
no, I wasn't heard. Yeah. I would say
Okay.
that would be this. Yeah, fair enough. Yep, true.
Okay, so if you're not heard, your body automatically is going to lock up some area, whether it's your jaw, your shoulders. It's like I've got the world on my shoulders. All of this is connected to emotions. You unlock the jaw as an example. You find out the emotion. Should I find the emotion?
Sure.
Okay, so what's the emotion of the little girl in Barbara that created a locked jaw? Lung, heart, lung, liver, gallbladder, anger, resentment, frustration, depression, stubborn, galled, indecisive. Was it Barbara's indecisiveness? Yes. So what was she indecisive about? Okay, what was she indecisive about? Lung, heart, lung, liver, anger, resentment, frustration, depression, stubborn, galled, indecisive. You were indecisive about, let's see what it is. It was subconscious. Indecisive about the struggle of, again, it's subconscious, potentiality, giving and receiving, struggle, detach, victim mode, denial mode, survival mode. Haha, you're in survival mode in that household. You had to become who you had to become in order to survive. See if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
So there's no safety for me to say my truth. There's no safety for me to open my mouth to scream because you gotta open your mouth to scream because you're so frustrated as a child. But to
Shut down.
you learned to shut down. What's the earliest you remember?
My earliest memory is about 5.
Okay, so at 5 years old or younger, your awareness was then. Be careful what you say, Barbara. People might not like it. Be careful what you say. Huh? Gee, what if? So that's what you learned. And your mom was what? How would you describe your mother? When you were 5, how would you describe her?
My mother was quiet, beautiful. She was very suppressed, and she wasn't an actualized person. So she didn't
A-
have a lot of personal agency.
And your
So
father? What was he?
my father, he was
What
very loud,
personality?
very loud. He was always screaming. So I remember him as being very loud, physically loud, and a verbally loud person.
Okay, so you saw your father get frustrated with your mother?
Yes.
Well, she did F you to him. I'm not talking, baby. Go ahead, go nuts. I don't care. It's the game. My strength, your mom, I'm talking about your mom. She's
Mhm.
saying to herself, my strength is I know what works. I don't have to be a nutcase. I don't have to scream my head off. I'm just not going to talk because I discovered many years ago that makes you insane. That's how I win.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm gonna have to think about that.
Well, if he goes crazy and she shuts down, there's the dance.
Yeah, that is the dance. You're right. And
That's
that
the
was very much
dance.
the dynamic.
So he's losing his temper because she's not doing or giving him what he needs. She says, "Oh, Well, you didn't treat me because I never taught you how to treat me in regards to what I need. So let's have an out emotional war. Let's have an emotional war. Did they sleep in the same bed?
Yes, my parents always slept in the same bed. Yes.
Just imagine that. We just had World War III. I said nothing as his wife. He's freaking out because he's trying to get some message across and he doesn't know any better how to get that message across. None of that will change. That'll continue on to this day. It'll just maybe be less reactive because as they get older, usually, not always, they get less reactive, but they poke the bear.
Mm.
So you did the right thing for yourself. You walked away and you said, no, 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 because you married your father. You just described your father.
Well, I didn't know this was gonna be such a revealing podcast, but yes, I mean, sometimes yeah, I mean, the patterns and the are there, and you start connecting the dots, and then you really understand more about.
Oh, for all of us. For all of us.
Yes.
Every single person on this earth has issues. The key thing is speak your truth and start dealing with your issues. It's that simple, everybody that's listening. You don't have to cut your head off. You don't have to let somebody else cut your head off emotionally. You must learn to attract the right people, go to the right people that are there to support you. They're not there to judge you. When I have new clients, I'm not there to judge them. I'm there to listen, and I say to them after they need to talk first, I'll say, okay, can we please ask your body now? Let's find out what the core emotion is. Please remember, for those of you that are listening, remember this. Your body always knows the answers. 80 of your beautiful body has a knowingness. The other 20%, your body knows the answers. The 20% is the brain. And that's what goes back a minimum of 4 generations that's going to try and create trickery in many areas of our lives if we play that dance. But when you opposites attract, usually. You get two peacekeepers together, they're very loving, but they have a very boring life. They can be very loving to each other because they're very easygoing. Where would you like to go for dinner? Oh, honey, where would you like to go for dinner? Well, that's a half-hour conversation before there's a decision. And there might not ever be a decision made because they've made a decision not to make a decision. So the powerful people, the ones that have voices and they're strong, they go through hell too. Every personality goes through hell. You have to be willing to make the choice of loving you and not allowing your partner to make you insane. So your mother went inside. She's like, huh, I win again. I win again. I have peace and he's went wonky. I think I'll go for a walk right now.
I wonder what she'd say if she's listening, but she did go for a lot of walks. You're right. You're
Oh,
right.
well, that's what I would have done. It's like I got to get out of the energy because I don't want to hear him complain for more than 2 or 3 minutes, but I can poke the bear with the hottest iron there is, know exactly what to expect, and then I'm going to walk away and have my peace. Do you see how they both play it? Did you think about that before?
In that way before. So it is it's very interesting, and I think that you have unpacked something really relevant. And I know because I know that I'll spend the next couple of days just that'll come up again and again for me. Like I'll keep working on what you just hit on. But yeah, no, you have a very special way of getting to the core of the issue. And I think then a person can really do the work because it's like opening up a clamshell. It's like it's opened and then you can actually get to what you need to process much quicker. Like I want to acknowledge you because I do find you to be very, very profound in your practice and the way that you help and support women to do the transformational processing. So Dr. Rose, any closing golden nuggets for anyone listening that is having flashbacks to why they walked down the aisle?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is this. I love this statement. You are where you are in your life because you can't stand it any better. When you can stand a better life, you'll change.
I love
So,
that statement too.
there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to like maybe what's being said here today, but I don't care. Because you know what? The truth is the truth is the truth is the truth. You beautiful ladies, look in the mirror and give yourself truth because maybe your mom didn't know how to give you the truth. Your dad didn't know how to give you the truth. Maybe you were raised in an alcoholic family or a drug family, whether it's a prescription drug or a street drug, in order to survive. All it takes is one decision, and it's a hard decision. I get it. But if you don't love you, there is nobody else that's going to love you. because we make it hard as human beings to allow other people to love us because we test them. We test them. Let me see. Is he going to have a fit because I just bought a $500 dress? Let's see how he's going to react. I mean, it's pushing the buttons. There are people that have been raised in households. Let's just push everybody's button. But the real game is you're playing that with yourself, and you need to look in the mirror every day. And I don't care how much you spent on clothes, on jewelry, on your haircut, on your hair coloring, the diamonds you wear. No, your heart is what matters. Your love that you allow yourself to receive and give is what matters. Being kind is everything. And sometimes being kind is speaking the truth, no longer living the lie.
I got goosebumps on that one, Dr. Rose. Yes, thank you. And that's a perfect place for us to pause this conversation. But the good news is that Dr. Rose and I are doing a series. And what's the series called, Dr. Rose?
Power of an Unstoppable Woman.
Yeah, that's what you've been doing for 30 years. So I wanted you to say it. And so there'll be more opportunities to have these compassionate inquiries. And we'll be diving into more confronting subjects like today. Why did you really walk down the aisle? And we'd love to hear your answer in the comments. Please, I invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. But most importantly, if you would like to do personal work with Dr. Rose Backman and discover your subconscious patterns, the patterns that are holding you back, please, subscribe, comment me in the feed, or reach out to Dr. Rose Backman directly on Facebook, or you can send me an email, barbarathepointe@gmail.com, and I will connect you directly with Dr. Rose Backman. But you can find her on Facebook, correct, Dr. Rose?
Yes, yes, you can find me on Facebook. And may I share something?
Please do.
I've done a lot of speaking in the past. If anybody's interested in looking for a speaker for women's events, they may want to contact me, and we can share to a live audience as well.
Absolutely. So the invitation is to become an unstoppable woman. And we look forward to more unstoppable conversations. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Rose.
Thank you, Barbara. It's always a pleasure.
Until next time.
Bye.
Healing doesn't happen all at once. It happens in moments like these. Wherever you are in your personal journey, honor it. If this episode meant something to you, share it, leave us a review, and stay connected for more conversations that move us forward. Until next time, I'm Barbara Lapointe, and remember, keep healing forward.